Hey everyone, how's it going? This is a match I got a few weeks ago in my M41 Walker Bulldog, which is still one of my favorite tanks to play, and I think you're gonna see why by the end of this game. Although, unfortunately, I am on a city map, and city maps and light tanks don't generally go well together, in my opinion, as they lack long sight lines, open areas, and concealment that light tanks really like because of their style of gameplay. Even though the Walker Bulldog is kind of a weird mix between a light tank and a medium tank, it just doesn't have the health to go in and brawl in the city if it needs to. Well, I guess I do end up doing that a bit in this video, but it's definitely not ideal, and I wouldn't recommend trying to do it most of the time. Now, the team has sent the majority of their tanks into the city, which is okay. Like, it's not a terrible thing, but that means most of the mediums and tank destroyers are left in the little town along the 9-0 lines. And I pop out and take a shot at this Hellcat. I missed the first one, connect the second one, and I thought I was still double bushed here, but I ended up getting spotted. Now I shouldn't have stuck around to take that shot. That was some damage that I really didn't need to be taking. And it might have cost me later on in the game. Well, spoiler alert, it doesn't, but in reality, once I saw that I was spotted, I really should have pulled back. And now here, I don't get spotted. And I definitely did not think I was double bushed for the first shot there, so... Anyways, moving on. We're down 2 tanks and quite a bit of health. And we've pretty much... well, haven't really lost the 9-0 lines, but we haven't really won them either. There's a full health ARL-44 coming, and he has a Nashorn sitting on the A line for backup, so I don't really want to go too far out and get shot by him. Take a shot at the ARL. He gets a really lucky shot on the back of my engine deck. I go around him and then decide to leave. This is not a very profitable engagement for me. While I probably could have DPM'd him to death there, I thought better would just to be to concede the little town and link up with my allies where I would have some support at least. Now we're still down 2 tanks, well, 3 tanks, and a decent amount of health. And we've given up some map control. We're basically forced down into the bottom third of the map, although really there is only an ARL coming from the east, so that's not that much of a worry for our tier 8s that remain. Our tier 8, sorry. And the ARL-44 does have good penetration, but its DPM is not great, and it's a tier 6, so it doesn't have very much health compared to an IS-6 at tier 8, for instance. Now, I've kind of got myself pinned down a little bit here. I'm trying to see where the enemies are exactly, because I want to go in and attack the weakest part of the enemy encirclement, basically. This Panther is a 2-shot, so I finish him off, and then move on to attack the Leopard and the KV-85. I don't really want to attack a Carnarvon head-on, and so I'd like to get around behind him and get side and rear shots on him. And the Leopard and the KV-85 are fairly low health tier 6s. So they are the weakest link. Take some more damage that I really didn't want to be taking. But they've finally been dealt with, and I can now help my teammates out with this Carnarvon. I realize I'm kind of sitting in the open here, and I'm a pretty juicy target for artillery, since I only have, at maximum, 25mm of armor on my tank. All the artillery needs to do is land a shot in the same general vicinity, and I'll go up in flames. Now, ideally, I should have hugged the wall to the south of me to provide some cover from artillery, but luckily, the enemy artillery didn't land a shot on me. I think he was more focused on the enemy I-6, maybe? But I'm not entirely sure. The ARL-44 has actually decent hull armor, but the turret is fairly weak. So I take a shot at its turret and decide to run away once again. Now I'm going with the IS-6 here because I don't really want to be caught out in the open and isolated from my only remaining teammate, and I don't want the same to happen to him. And since we're fairly close together, we can at least provide a little bit of mutual cover for each other. Now I'm poking out here to see if I can spot anything. I'm trying to see where the Nashorn is, because that's what scares me the most, to be perfectly honest. I really didn't want him spotting me, because that would be all over. I really am just a one-shot for everything on the enemy team. If they get anywhere near an average damage roll. Like, I guess if the VK hit me, and he's using the 88, and he low-rolled, I could probably survive. But I'd rather not get shot at all. And the IS-6 is going to be spotting the enemy Tiger for me. I mean, I don't think he intended to do it just for me, but it just happened that way. So I'm able to put my gun to use at long range, not get spotted, and just DPM this Tiger to death, which is really what you want to do in the Walker Bulldog, and it's oh so satisfying. And we can see that the Nashorn actually went into the city, which is interesting. And that means all of the enemies are grouped up around the cap. The IS-6 is going to push in, and I'm going to follow not far behind to provide him some cover and a different lane of fire, basically. Getting side shots and creating a bit of confusion for the enemies. A little bit of a awareness fail there. I didn't notice the Nashorn until just now. And not the greatest driving there, trying to get away from his gun. But I managed to live anyways. And now that the ARL is focusing on the IS-6, I get to take him out and put my DPM to work on this VK, who is actually using the 75mm Konish, it appears. Now the IS-6 is going to finish him off after I put a final shot into him. And now we can attack the Nashorn together, who has seen that he is now outnumbered and is backing away as fast as his little tank will take him. I decide to put one shot into him and not stick around. I want to keep this church in between me, the Nashorn, and the artillery until I go unlit, and then I can flank around behind him. Or at least that's the plan. The IS-6 can stay covering 2 lanes, and if the Nashorn pops out, like he does there, I can go take him out. But unfortunately, the enemy GW Tiger lands a shell on our IS-6. Now I track the Nashorn on the move, and I'm deciding whether or not I should go for the double track, but he actually still has a repair kit and uses it to repair his track, so I decide to jam myself against his side in the hopes that I can finish him off before he's able to turn enough to get a shot into me. Now, I'm not really sure why I was dodging the enemy artillery here. I guess it's just out of habit, but since he killed the IS-6 just a few moments ago, he should still be on reload. And now it's time to hunt down the last enemy. And if I can't kill a single artillery piece after doing all this for my team, then I don't deserve to win this game. So I'm going to stay in the low ground here and just try and poke the top of my turret up above the ridges and see what I can spot, because I'm guessing that he is along the right, or the eastern side of the A line amongst these buildings here. And you're about to see that I was right. There he is. He's not really in the buildings per se, but he's close enough. The first shot, I guess it goes into the ground. The second shot misses entirely. I should still be safe here in the low ground. I don't think he can arc the shell quite that much. And I pretend like I'm going to approach him from the east through the bushes and the buildings, but in reality I'm going to go all the way around through the city and try and use my view range to outspot him and come from a direction that he won't be expecting. And I like how my teammates here were trying to instruct me how to play here at the end. I'm not sure what about my performance up to this point made them think that I needed help, but yeah. I was perfectly happy to just play my own tank and ignore them. And there's the enemy artillery. Going to get to put 2 shots into him. And you're not getting away, scumbag. Oh no. Unfortunately, I had to use heat shells on him since I was out of regular APCR. But that left me with 8 kills, the Radley-Walthers medal, Top Gun, High Caliber, and the Ace Tanker, dealing almost 4,500 damage with a base XP of 1,747. I did almost double what the next highest member of my team did in damage, and pretty much more than 4 times what anybody else did after the friendly artillery. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe I'll catch you next time. And until then, happy hunting.